At the start of this year, I created my Tirannwn locked Ultimate Ironman, and I set out with the goal of killing Zora and finishing the Song of the Elves when it was released. I never imagined I would make it this far, and I never imagined it would turn into what it has become. At the end of February, an announcement was released that showed the requirements necessary to get into Prifddinas and complete the Song of the Elves. It really put into perspective how hard this grind would be and what path I would need to take the account on. I covered this all in episode 9 and how I would tackle the up and coming challenges. The plan at the time seemed foolproof, and I mean, it pretty much was. That was up until just over a month ago when the Song of the Elves was released. Now before I cover the details of the revised grinds and the new timeline and projection for the account, let's just take a look at the few quality of life updates that were made in Tirannwn and the Underground Pass that impacted my account. With the release of the Song of the Elves, both Tirannwn and the Underground Pass actually got quite a nice facelift, and I'll cover some of these changes in future episodes in bits and pieces, or if you guys want, I could just make a complete side video on the changes. They were unlisted in the update blog, but there was just quite a few of them that I've picked up on since the update. We're actually going to focus on two major changes that have impacted the account. The first one, and probably the biggest for the account, is the addition of an anvil in the Dwarven camp within the Underground Pass. Back in episode 14, I mentioned at the end about making an exception to allow the account to go into West Ardy so that I could use the anvil for smithing training, as without an anvil, smithing just wasn't a viable skill to train. The second major change, which has had a far more negative impact on the account, is that the post-quest Underground Pass is now an instance area. This presents two issues within itself. After finishing the Underground Pass, the Disciples of Iban, the 3 Paladins, the 3 Demons, and the Soulless have all been removed from the pass. Although it isn't a huge deal, I can no longer obtain the Zami robes from the Disciples. These robes are my best obtainable gear for prayer bonus, and although like I said it's not a huge deal, it is just a bit of a pain as I'm currently wearing the top and I don't necessarily want to lose the prayer bonus, so I'm going to have to hold on to it for the time being. The removal of the Paladins within the pass also hurts the account. If you recall, I used the Paladin drops of iron and steel bars to train construction, and if I'd allowed the West Ardy anvil, this would have been my primary method for training smithing. The second issue raised by turning the Underground Pass into an instance is exactly that, it's an instance. So whenever I'm inside of the Underground Pass, I'm unable to receive any form of random event. I know other creators such as Settled have done extensive investigations into random event force spawning with the use of instances. The biggest issue I've had so far is that I have not had the same luck or the same success with trying to force spawn randoms with the use of instances. I've been using the same methods as them and reading up on other methods and nothing is working. Over the last few weeks I've been testing random event spawn timers, but the spawn timers are exactly that, random. I'll continue to research it and try and learn the tricks to spawning lots of genies so that we can speed up smithing and speed up hunter training, but until then I'm just going to have to stick out the training within the Underground Pass and accept the fact that I'm probably not going to be getting any random events for quite a while to come. The release of the Song of the Elves has been both a blessing and a curse. But after doing some further planning, I think I've developed my final methods for training each skill and the order I'm going to have to tackle them in and the processes I'll take to get there. I've already tackled 2 of these skills, which leaves 6 more to go. Herblore, Hunter, Mining and Construction are remaining the same as I mentioned them in episode 9. However, both smithing and farming will see some drastic changes to how I'm going to train them. I'll just quickly gloss over those first 4 skills that I mentioned. There's slight changes to a few of them, but if you guys want a more in-depth guide or more in-depth research, please go check out episode 9 because I cover a lot of it over there. So for construction, from level 5 to level 70, we'll take 7,370 decorative rocks, which is 36,850 limestone bricks. On top of this, I'm going to need about 2,000 to 2,500 lore runes, of which I'm going to obtain from Zora. However, in place of creating house portals until level 5, I'm now going to start using bronze nails that I create from smithing bronze bars and the plank spawns within the Underground Pass to craft furniture so that I may start crafting decorative rocks to get me to level 70. Alongside training construction, mining will also be knocked out because the limestone bricks needed for construction far outweigh the amount needed to get to level 70 mining. Herblore from level 22 to level 70 was going to require 11,713 restore potions. To get to level 22, I initially planned to use attack potions. However, I'll most likely be cleaning herbs along my smithing grind and whilst I collect herbs to get to level 70. But before I can start Herblore, I need to either obtain level 30 smithing or 46 hunter for steel bars so that I can make a sink within the POH kitchen so that I can fill vials of water. Hunter from level 27 to 70 is going to take about 32,500 implings. I'm currently at level 22 Hunter and only a few more XP randoms for 27. Once at 27 I'll be catching implings till 70. With the removal of the world hop limit, this grind will become substantially easier and I estimate around 7 to 10k XP an hour, up from the original 5k XP an hour. Last month we saw the release of the merch store, and I just wanted to say thank you all so much for the support. It has been insane. I really appreciate it, guys. I've taken some time off over the last month after the agility grind just to get myself back together and get everything back in action, and here we are ready to set off with a newfound dedication to the grind. And to celebrate that and to celebrate the first month of the store being live, I want to give you guys something special. So if you head over to the store right now, the first 100 people will get 15% off their next purchase with the code SOTE, Song of the Elves. So guys, hurry, quick, get over there, be the first ones to grab yourself a nice bargain on some quality merch. Now let's cover one of the grinds that is going to see the biggest changes from the original plan. Smithing. Smithing is my current grind, and by far it's going to be the hardest, even harder than agility. To obtain level 15 smithing, it's looking like it'll take upwards of about 250 hours, and whilst training it, I am unable to obtain any random events due to being in the underground pass. The process involves killing zombies in order to obtain a copper and tin ore to make a bronze bar, and then go smith it at the dwarven anvil. Once at level 15, I'll move on to iron. I'll be killing skeletons for their rare iron ore drop till level 30 for steel bar smithing. I have no idea how long level 15 to 30 is going to take. It could take upwards of 300 hours, so I'll also be superheating every iron ore that I get to make the most of it. Once I hit level 30 smithing, I'll begin to tackle the hunter grind all the way through to level 70 hunter. There's quite a few implings that drop a variety of different bars that I should be able to smith starting at 30, mostly being steel, and I'll eventually be able to work my way up to some of the mithril bars that can be common drops. I have no idea how much experience this will net me by the time I get to level 70 hunter. I was stumped for quite a while and just at a loss of how I was going to go about training this and exactly how long it was going to take. It seemed like it could be almost impossible. That was until I discovered this. A while ago, back around the time of my drop table experiments, Void Mum in my Discord notified me about a chest within the Mourner headquarters. This chest can be looted for 125 thieving experience and respawns every 50 seconds, netting a maximum of 9k experience an hour. However, hopping worlds and looting this chest can net even more thieving experience per hour, to an unprecedented amount. Now I have to obtain a new set of Mourner gear to get into the headquarters, as I threw my last set away from Morning's End Part 2. But I have to obtain a new set for Song of the Elves anyway, so I've decided I will once more obtain this outfit to use for this thieving method, and then after I'm finished I'll store it within my player owned house with oak planks obtained from implings, so that I'll have it ready for Song of the Elves. The reason that this thieving method is key to the smithing grind is gold ore. Gold ore can be obtained from pickpocketing elves, which requires level 85 thieving. The method I use to get to level 50 thieving grants roughly 2.5k experience an hour. This method could easily grant almost 10 times that amount. It could take a 1200 hour grind down to less than 120 hours, which is mind-blowing. Now, level 85 thieving not only unlocks a consistent and easy gold ore drop, it also unlocks a steady supply of nature runes, death runes, and fire orbs, all of which are crucial for the account and for killing Zora. Eclectic Implings and Zora have a chance at dropping battle staves, of which I can use to create a fire battle staff, which has been a huge goal I've been gunning for in the account since it started. The nature root drops in combination with the fire staff means that I'll be able to superheat the gold ore on the spot, and it's pretty much going to pay for itself and be completely self-sustaining with pickpocketing elves. On top of this, the consistent death rune drops will allow me to train magic a lot easier, and it's going to allow me to use Iban's Blast with a decent magic level for killing Zora, so that I can farm lore rune drops for construction. So after reaching level 70 agility and completing Morning's End Part 2 last episode, a new training method has been realised, and just in time and convenient enough for the change that we introduced with Song of the Elves. So although my plans were changed and it was out of my hand, I've been able to adapt and keep it all within Tirannwn for what will hopefully be an authentic and efficient experience. The final skill I have to talk about is farming, and this has been a huge point of contention for a long time. And whilst I'm still a fair way off, I figure I might as well raise my concerns and my solutions so that you guys can understand where I'm coming from. On screen now are the calculations I did for reaching level 70 farming. Only being able to utilize a single tree patch is difficult, and on top of that, obtaining consistent seeds for farming is next to impossible until papayas from Zora. If I was to harvest a tree patch every 16 hours on the dot, it would take me a bare minimum of 2,417 hours or 100 days of in-game playtime. Now adding in the fact that trees will die, or I may not get the seed drops I need, as I've chopped over 200 hours worth of use and only ever received one apple tree seed. On top of this, the fact that I will not be harvesting a tree every 16 hours every single day, the farming grind could take upwards of an entire year to realise. So this is where it gets dicey, and it's been something I have been wrestling with for quite some time. After speaking to quite a few of you about this, a potential solution was brought up, which suggested I use the East Arty farm plots. I could obtain a select few fruit seeds from ogres and herb seeds from the Yorworth warriors. However, this would barely make a dent in the grind. It'd possibly take it from being a year to 6 to 8 months. So in the interest of getting to Prifddinas and completing the Song of the Elves, as there are still many more requirements and preparations needed for the quest other than just the skills, I propose that I venture to Zaya and I use the Tithe farm to reach level 70 farming. I'll make farming my final skill, and I'll try my best to make it lore friendly and fit into the series. And if I must, I'll make a sacrifice that equalizes me leaving Tirannwn to train an entire skill for this quest. It's a big ask, and it is a big fault in the account and the exceptions, and I apologize, I really do. But I could never have predicted how hard this was going to be because I never had the skills in front of me when I first started the account. So I sincerely hope that you guys understand. But after reaching Prifddinas, I'll have access to a new herb patch, and I'll happily train farming for many years to get it to level 99. But at the moment, I don't have years, and in the interest of the series, my account's longevity, and me not burning out, I think it's the best path to take. So, as I said, it'll be the last thing I do before starting the quest, and if any of you guys want to talk further or have any ideas as to how I could train farming in a decent time frame and get around this obstacle, let me know, as I'd love to do it. For the meantime, I'll continue training farming as per normal, raking and planting the seeds that I receive, and I'm going to start sinking lamps into it once I've finished smithing. But I really do hope you guys can all understand that it's going to be an insane grind that I never expected, and it's something I haven't wanted to confront or talk about for a while, but I feel like it's finally time to bring it up and have this discussion with you guys. What are your opinions? What do you think? Is it worth just making the exception for 70 farming in order to get to Prif, or should I just wait out an entire year to make sure I can get it done legitimately? I briefly mentioned the skilling requirements not being the only recs that I need for this quest. As many of you have been wondering, how will I be tackling the final boss, the Fragment of Seren? It's an incredibly difficult boss for maxed mains, and it's going to be an insane task for TirannwnOnly. In terms of strategy, I plan to use Iban's Blast and hopefully have a magic level at least up around the mid 80s before I tackle the boss. I'm still undecided on the best gear setup yet, as in terms of mage and prayer bonus, I'm extremely limited with wizard and the single Zambi robe that I have. If you haven't already, please go check out Rendy's video on completing the Song of the Elves at the lowest level possible. He shows it can be done, however, my account doesn't have access to Zamorak Brews. So until I can actually test the fight on my main and learn it properly and learn a new strategy, I think I'll be utilising a similar method with Redemption and the Phoenix necklaces, as pickpocketing elves allows me to obtain diamonds quite easily and gold bars that I can then turn into the necklaces. So the plans aren't set in stone yet, but I'm more than confident I can do it with the right stats. It's just about getting the right gear to be able to tackle this boss efficiently. So, where am I going and what's the plan for the future? Currently, I'm in the middle of the smithing grind. I'll need to get that to at least level 30 before moving on to anything else. Thieving will then be the next objective. Level 85 thieving so I can pickpocket elves. At this point, I'd like to hope that I will have achieved level 27 hunter, in which I'll begin catching implings and training smithing upwards of level 40. Once at level 70 hunter, I'll begin pickpocketing elves for level 70 smithing and hoarding the runes whilst doing so. I'll then train my magic level up as much as I possibly can and work my way to level 38 herblore for prayer potions so that I can begin mage only kills at Zulrah. I'll be looking to hoard lore runes and snapdragons from Zulrah so I can use these to train construction and herblore. After finishing Zulrah, I'll move on to either construction or mining, or herblore. After finishing those two, I'll assess my stats and work towards getting any extra levels needed for Song of the Elves. Finally, finishing off all of the grinds will be level 70 farming with what we decide to do with it. For a while now, I've been saying by the end of the year this will be possible. Whilst I may come close, I have no doubt it will take at least another 4 to 6 months to achieve all of the stats possible to actually beat the quest. Because, like I said, it's not just about the requirements, we have to go above and beyond so that we can tackle this final boss. I've just gotten back into the saddle after taking a much needed break post agility grind, but I'm ready and I'm so excited to get back into it. I can taste how close I am, and if I can smash out the beginning of this smithing grind, the pieces will all start to fall into place. I've seen so many of the other snowflakes on that impling grind and getting some major gear upgrades, and I'm honestly so excited to do the same. Thank you guys for all of your continued support. Now that I'm back, a new progress video should be out relatively soon, and I've finally sorted myself into a stable schedule, so some semi-frequent streams should be heading your way. But for now, I hope this gave you all a bit of insight into my thought processes and into the insane scale of this account. I also plan to be starting up a new side series or just something to keep you guys entertained in between TirannwnOnly episodes when there are long stints in grinds. So I have a few ideas and one that I'm pretty set on, but if you guys have anything you want to see or anything you want me to explore, please whack it in the comments section down below. You know I read them all. But for now, that'll do it. I'll see you all next time.